that was a little bit unexpected that we had those kind of interruptions. I do apologize for that. And I agree with Anna that that was part of our experience. Lovely people, thank you for being today with us. This is the Grow Law Festival. 7 people from 6 different countries, from the US, UK, Mexico, Egypt, South Africa, Ukraine. We are sharing our thoughts, we're sharing our knowledges, we're sharing our experiences in order to make your path easier and to be happier and to let your love grow. In this section, during the daytime, we will have 3 speakers right now. I would deliver right now for you the masterclass Partner as a Mirror. The next speaker would be Mahmoud Maihoob, who would give you the masterclass about the communication, the constructive communication, and you could see our short interview from yesterday. The next one would be Patrick, who is the the coach who teach how to overcome the crisis in relationships and talking about how to build the healthy relationships. And during the second section, which will start at 7:30 p.m. Kiev time, we will have Anna giving us the guided meditation again. I don't know who need the guided meditation more, people who would attend our masterclasses or the speakers, because I was so excited but nervous at the same time, according to responsibility, but it was absolutely beautiful experience. Thank you again, Anna. And in the evening, we will have Anna with us in the beginning of the second section. And after Rosalba with the masterclass, relationships and the relationships with money, how they are connected. Kenji Santil, who would speak about the respect in relationships, and absolutely lovely Taisha McCoy, the person with the so wow energy. They all are with an amazing energies, and I'm blessed and grateful that we did that all together with them. Who would speak. Taisha would be with us with the masterclass about the different levels of love. And I'm not sure if we're gonna stop at 1 hour with Taisha. I think people will have lots of questions for her. And it's very nice to have you all here and join us on Zoom. If you're watching us on Facebook, I'm sorry. I hope that this information would help you. So what I gonna share with you today, my topic is Partner as a Mirror. Just a quick reminder, I'm Karina. I'm a life purpose life coach. I'm a teacher of English. I'm a person inspired by life, and my own personal path into psychology, into coaching start from my own traumas and the pain, and I needed to help myself. So what I will do today, I will share with you the ideas. I will share with you something that would work. I love to go into the things, what you can use in practice after, so you can implement it, and that would work for you right away, not just only a theory. These ideas, just take it, just listen to it. If you see this video, if you somehow joined our sessions, so you need to see that. And if something would be painful to hear, that might be so, try to understand, try just to listen and to observe the ideas. I'm not here to teach you. I'm not here to try to influence on you. You will take everything that you need to take, and you would not take something that you don't need from there. A quick reminder, we are very powerful, and sometimes we're forget about that. And during our life paths, we like to play as victims. So what I want to speak today is about how to take our power back and take it from the external conditions and become stronger and more happier person with having our responsibilities as a good thing, not as something tough, but as a good things. I want to ask you, guys, if you can open up your cameras, that would be great. If you can participate, that would be awesome. I would love to hear your comments. How do you think, how conscious we are? Like 100% conscious, 30% conscious, 90% conscious? How do you think? Any ideas? Who's with us? No ideas? Okay, so the average percentage of consciousness around the world is 10%. In average, we are conscious for 10%. And I will share right now with you the picture. Just a minute. Oh, will not share. No. So what is our conscious mind? The 10% of our conscious mind is our willpower, is our long-term memory, is our logical thinking, and is our critical thinking. 90% of our subconscious is our beliefs, is our emotions, is the habits, the values, the protective reactions, the long-term memory, the imagination, and the intuition. So talking about the partner as a mirror, talking about the partner as a mirror, we will take into consideration the concept that everything starts with us. And why is that? I will try to explain you from the very beginning, so that would be easier for you to understand that. The basic model of relationship, our first experience of relationship comes from our family. And the very basic model is my relationship with my mom, the relationship with my father, and the relationship in between them. And when we go into the roots of the issues that happening with us, and of course, if there is a recurrent pattern that we don't like something in our relationship, because if we're talking that we want to fix something, that means that something doesn't work properly, or we have something that we don't want actually to have in our life, right? And the best way to resolve that is go to the root of the issues. That's great that we have nowadays such techniques as working with the subconscious mind, is therapy that help us to go to the root of that. And before, if there is somehow no such ability to go to the therapist who can do those, and we want to understand just ourselves better, so where is the root of where we take it from? Our basic model, so we take it from our family. And right now I will ask you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, relax, and to say, Mama. What emotions do you have? What thoughts come to your mind? That might be love, that might be acceptance. At the same time, that might be pain. There might be sadness. There might be disappointment. And every emotions, for example, the wish to have more love, every emotion that we have towards our mom, we might have with our partner. Because as our first great person who we love in our life, and the first person with whom we experience our relationship, if she doesn't have something that we need to give to us, and our parents, they don't have everything as a complete picture to give to us, they never have that. And that's not bad. I will tell you later why. We would expect those things that we feel lack of. We would expect our partner to cover those parts. And at this point, when we face some issues in our relationships and we expect something from our partner, we do understand where it comes from. And from there, we know that, how I can work with myself, how I can grow low within myself. So I would not try to manipulate my partner to give it to me, or I would not just give the hard time to my partner if I don't know how to express my feelings that I need this particular love in this form. So there, I would not complicate the relationship in between two of us, but I will know to which part, to which direction I should go in order to grow that love within me. And imagine that before reincarnating to planet of Earth to be a human being, together with our family, together with our mom and our father, and with our family, with meaningful people, important people in our life, we agree that in this life, our soul would need to take some lessons and would need to learn. And from there, we build the scenario but by ourselves, and we come to this planet Earth, and we don't remember about that. And at this point, our parents and our folks and our partners, they are the greatest teachers of ours, because they agreed to give us what we asked. But somehow that we don't remember that right now, we would blame them for all of those pain that they give to us. And I'm sure that many people, they are working on growing the love, growing the self-esteem, growing the self-love within them. But still, if there is some suffering in a relationship, that means that we didn't come to that point of self-love that we can spread that to our partner and into the world. Then we would need to go back to the root of the problems, to the root of the issues, and to heal that part. From there, our parents, as I said, they don't have everything that we need for particular reasons. We need to learn in this life to go from our pain and to grow love within us. This is one of the most beautiful experiences and lessons that we can learn. And when we're going to those kind of things and try and start to analyze and so in the childhood, I didn't receive this, I didn't have that, so my parents, they were bad. No, they did not. And one of the beautiful things that we can do, and where our healing started, where we can have a look at the most important people in our life and accept them by who they are, and forgive for everything that we had the pain for, and to love them by who they are. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, the universe gave me and us a little bit of experience, which is beautiful still. So the first thing, that how we can start to heal our relationship and to heal the pain that we have in a relationship and to heal ourselves, is the relationship with our parents. I will share with you some tips and some exercises how you can change your life from now on, from today on, from the next hour. But the basic things is, if you have some issues with your mom, if you have some issues with your father, that's the very good time, that's the very just the right time to have a look at them from a different perspective, at your great teachers. And if there is something that you argue about, or you cannot accept them as who they are, or you blame them for what they gave you in terms of pain, or what they didn't give you, just try to let that go, to overcome that, to learn from that, and to choose yourself from that perspective. And as I said, if we would not let that go, if we would not grow that love and that self-love, self-confidence within us, nobody will do that instead of us, and we would always wait that someone else would cover our needs. And above of that, that's okay if we can tell that, you know, I have the lack of love in this area. So, for example, I need the support in this area. But not always we have the ability, not always we do understand ourselves from this perspective to deliver that thought to our partner, and to be honest that I need this or I don't need this, and we're just playing in a game when we don't truly understand what we want. We're just in pain, and that complicates our relationship. So what is good when you are try to dig a little bit deeper and to understand yourself is you actually understand what serves you, what do not serve you. You understand the depths of your needs, and you can heal that. So as I said, I'm gonna share with you today something from the karmic management, and something that you will be able to use from the next hour in terms of make your life better and make your relationship better, and to take your power back in terms of taking back your responsibility. And many times we are thinking about the responsibility as about something tough, something that we don't want to take because this is not we previously agreed to do, but people gave us the responsibility that we didn't want to take and to have that in our life. But we have the power of choice. And when we're grown up, we can work on that and to learn how to choose ourselves and how to be how to heal ourselves from that position when we choose ourselves, and when we are capable to look inside of ourselves and what we had in past, what serve us, what did not serve us, what kind of traumas we have, and work on that. And that makes us wiser, that makes us stronger, that makes us better, that makes us happier. So I encourage you to take your power back from the external conditions and to be responsible for your life, because nobody else can do for you what you need. Nobody else but you can give you what you need. And if we give the power to an external conditions, when we say, well, the situation is that, or I was grown up in such a family, or my parents couldn't give me this and that, that makes us weak, and that's actually not true. We are more powerful than we think. If we're not responsible for our life yet, we're more powerful than we think we are. So there is a beautiful expression, I can see the beauty, or you can see the beauty in the world or in other people just because you have the beauty within you. The same with the pain, the same with the traumas. If we do see something what we don't like in other people, that because we do have it within us. And of course, this is something that we don't want to actually admit. This is something that's a little bit painful to accept, because to say, hey, of course, if I see the beauty in other people, that's nice. I would willing to accept that because I have the beauty inside of me. But to think about the not that positive sides or the side that we don't want to look at, is different, is challenging, and we don't want to do that. And overall, the process of healing, the process of how we come back to true self, how we come back to who we are, and how we grow low within us and heal our pain and heal our traumas, is challenging as well. And I love to think about that, and as I can see that from my own perspective, is like a take off. When you are in the plane and you are taken off and you're going through the clouds and you have those turbulence, and then just after, when you are flying on the higher, and you actually went, you pass that turbulent zone, so you can enjoy the beautiful view, you can enjoy the beautiful sky, but there would be those times of turbulence, but which is actually absolutely okay. And this is just the process of learning. And as well, as we have been speaking about the conscious and subconscious mind, what we do have 90% within us, what actually makes us reactive and be a little bit more in pain, and would not be not able to let that pain go so easily, because our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, our values, our protective reactions, our something that we grab when we were little, and we cannot acknowledge that so easily with our conscious mind, that comes from our subconscious mind, and that takes time to learn about that and to be aware about that. And something we are able to do just with the therapists who work with the subconscious mind, only by that. So I choose for you very like the most common important aspects, but not that pleasant aspects in relationship that people are suffering with. And what I will offer to you to do is to go through the list of questions that you can say for yourself and that you can come through in order to be able to heal yourself from the perspective that you are responsible for your life. And all our traumas or our negative beliefs, everything that we do have in our life that we don't want to look at, actually, this is not something that were in our life to make us suffer, but this is our blessings, because when we overcome those, we become, as I said, stronger, wiser, more loving. And the greatest things that we can do for ourselves is to set up the mindset, or take the idea into consideration that if I can learn from it, then that's for sure not something bad in my life. If I can learn from it, so I can use it for my benefit in the future. And if we do have something that we're suffering in our life, if we do have any kind of pain or trauma, we can overcome it for sure. We have all the resources within us. We do have enough of energy, enough of power to overcome that and become more loving. So, for example, one of the common things that we meet in a relationship, if my partner is cold with me, how we can change that, just not trying to change our partner, but having our own resources, and just taking that from our perspective, is this way. Just think about that. Where in which spheres of my life I criticize other people. Oh, sorry, called. If the partner is called with me, in which areas of my life and with whom I am called. And as we touch the topic with our parents, with our greatest teachers in this life, if you are called with your parents somehow, if you are called with your mom or father, if you are called with yourself, if you are called with some people who actually wants or needs your love, if you are called even with the animals, and if you are called somehow with yourself, somewhere that you need your love and support. And if we take it this way, hey, where I can change it myself, step by step, we will see that once we realize and recognize where we do that ourselves and we stop doing that, our lives start to change. But if we've been going with the specific speed onto one direction, that takes time to go to another direction and stop following this way. So be patient and be consistent in what you do. And as we will go through the list of the different aspects that might cause a pain in the relationship, just choose one or two that you can work on, and take the notebook, take the diary, and make a note every day. By the end of the day, just retrospecting, where I was called this today, and with whom, and if I can change that, if I can give a little bit more of love, or if I can say no, for example, and just say no to this situation. Maybe there is just something that I don't need in my life, but instead of just saying directly and honestly that I'm sorry, but I cannot do that for you, or I cannot be here, we're punishing ourselves. But that's a little bit different topic, and we will go through that as well. So the first one, if is my partner is called for you. We're not touching here the thing as if we choose the right partner. That's a different topic, and our speakers would cover lots of those today. So I'm giving you right now the tips, like if you understand that you love your partner and you know that your partner loves you, but somehow there is something. Hello, Patrick. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Karina.
And yeah. Guys, if you can open up your camera again, just do that. That would be nice to see you. So I'm not going to this side. I'm going just to the side. What you can change if you know that there is love within you, but something happened somewhere, you went to the a little bit wrong direction, and how you can change that from the point of view that everything starts with you, and how what I can do in this situation. So the next one is if my partner criticizes me. Again, where I criticize myself. The very first question is basically in each blog is if I do that for myself, because we are not what we have within us. We do behave the same way with the other people. If you've heard, there is such a saying that the person who loves herself or himself would never ever hurt other people. We hurt only if we have pain within us, and as well we attract the people with the same pain that we have inside of us. And in terms of that, we can heal each other if we would look at the pain from the perspective that, hey, I can heal that within me, and I don't want to hurt you. I see your pain. So as I see your pain and I understand myself, so I can understand you, I don't want to hurt you, because then I will cause more of those situations in my life. So if my partner criticizes me, where in my life I criticize myself, where in my life, in which aspects I criticize other people, and no need to go so far, where in my life I criticize my partner, where I do that with my parents. And as we started our conversation speaking about our parents, we are looking at them as at our mirrors, as well as we are looking at our partners. And basically, if we go through them different aspects and can heal those aspects that we do have issues with our parents, so we would not have those patterns reoccurring in our life with our partners, because we know already where we had that, why we had that, and no need for us to see that. We have the reoccurring patterns and the situations that gives us the pain in our life only in order to be able to heal that and to grow love within us, to become more loving person. And the pain is just showing us the direction. So it's not something bad, it's just something that's pointing us, hey, this is some lesson that I have to go through in this life. And as well, how I can learn from it and how I can be better and why I should learn that. And that's very interesting. The next one, if my partner is lying to me, or I'm afraid that my partner would lie to me. That's one of the most interesting parts from all, because we're all somehow lying to ourselves. Again, starting with myself, where in my life, where in which aspects I am lying to myself. And you will find out that sometimes you are not true with yourself when you are making decisions. I know that I don't want to go there. I know that I don't want to do that, but somehow I get too used to that. I know that I don't want to. My body tells me absolutely clearly that I don't want to do that, but I just continue because I promised, because I feel guilty if I would not do that, because I feel shame, because I feel because I have the fear if I would not do that, something would happen. And by the way, the basic manipulation comes out of guilt, out of fear, and out of shame. So if you see that somehow people operate with those kind of feelings when they are with you, that's the good reason, that's the good a time to think if that's worth it, because definitely that's the manipulation. The healthy relationship always based on love, and again, we can behave with the people out of love and not out of fear, only if we have love within us. So where I do lie to myself, where I say yes, where I want to, in fact, say no, where I exaggerate what I have done instead of saying that, okay, this is what I did and that was actually good. And do not go beyond and just lie that you did, in fact, more than you did. Where you tell the feelings and express the feelings that you don't have. That's very interesting when we start to see how that operates and how we by ourselves building the reality around us and having back then what we do spread to the world. Sometimes another lie that we do by ourselves and about and for ourselves is when we're saying that we did less, or that we worth less, that we in fact worth it, or in fact that we did. That's the lie as well. And that's one of the very interesting part that I learned just recently, because I'm a human being. I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning as well. And of course, I'm okay with with the things that I do have in my life. But there is things that I'm working on, and I'm sure that I'm sure that would be never, I think, end to work on different things, because once you overcome one thing, you are at another level, and there would be something always to work with. The difference is if we enjoy the process, or we take it as a painful path. Lying to partner, lying to people around us, that's the third thing, which is like really common in our life. So step by step, when we just stop doing that, we would see that we don't need that situation in our life anymore, and that we don't afraid if someone else would lie to us. We don't afraid that our partner lied to us. We would not face the issues that there is here and there, or in a business, or in a friendship, or in a partnership, is a lie, because we would not need that anymore. Why? Because we don't have that within us, or we had minimized all of those things within us. So basically, every question starts if I do that to myself, or where I do that, where I can recall, just like within the past few days, even where I did that by myself. What about the lie? It's very interesting that it gives more freedom when you stop doing that, because me personally, I was grown up in a family where my grandparents, they taught me how to be a good girl, that you have to behave with other people, that you have to be good, do not hurt, do not give a pain. And at some point that caused the thing that you are comfortable to other people, but you harm yourself and you give more than you want to give. And when you stop putting yourself into a position that you have to be good with other people, thus lie, because you don't feel like you want even to cooperate with something or with some people, that gives you more freedom. You're just saying honestly and normally and absolutely consciously that I'm sorry, but no. Or just keep silent, and you're not thinking about the different variations, how you should just lie or how you should be nice here and there, but you're just being yourself and you feel okay with yourself. Again, what is good to work on in our life or in our partnership, in our relationship, is something that give us the pain. If we are comfortable with the different things and they do not bother us. So for some people, for many people, it's not an issue to speak about that, to touch those topics, because they are very okay with that. But there is something that actually give us the pain, and it appear in our life and bother us. So with those of things, it's very nice to be responsible to heal that within us and to work with that in order to be happier. Another thing which is very interesting is if my partner is greedy with me, for example, where I am greedy towards to other people, where I'm greedy to give even the emotions. It doesn't matter like if that's the materialistic things or that's about the emotions. But where am I greedy, where I do not give myself what I want to have, where I consciously hurt my partner and do not give him something that he want to give. Another one is where if we're fighting, insisting of being Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. That's another super interesting thing, that we do have lots of pressure in our life when we are trying to insist on our rights. And it's not only about the partnership, because partnership is one of the aspects in our life, but we can see that in every sphere of our life, because we spread the same things onto the world. We're not behaving in a particular way just only in relationships. We just somehow do that in a different ways, but we do that. So where am I greedy? Where I'm not generous, where I'm afraid to lose the energy or to lose the time, and I'm afraid to be generous because somehow in the past I had the painful experience with that. And that's a very good point to think about that and to maybe change your mind if that bothers you. And even without saying something about that for our partner, we would see the difference in the behaviors, and moreover, we will see the difference within the world around us when we stop doing those things around ourselves. And generosity is one of the very interesting and beautiful things in our life. If we are generous to the universe and to people around us, to the situations, and we are ready to help and give. So we do have very our life, and we're blossom, and our life become more rich, and the relationship overall, not only with the partner but with the friends, with the people around us, become more rich. If my partner is angry with me, we sometimes, as we don't think about what I do by myself, so I cause those issues in my life, we might fight with someone else, or we might fight with the children, again, with the animals who cannot resist, who cannot respond to us in the same way. And we think that it's okay. There would be the mixed feelings, the mixed behaviors, like being angry and insisting of being right. But anyway, that would come back to us in a more times that we just give it to the world. So if we experience the anger in our life and we spread that into the world, we give that into the world, we would have those things coming back from the in the sensitive spheres of our lives. Or, for example, if we gave that anger to the child, and he wasn't in vain, we had some issues at work, but we somehow gave that anger to the child. In a week, our partner gave us back those things, and we're thinking, I didn't do anything. I just wanted to have the hug, and I had exhausting day at work. Where is it come from? Everything happening for a reason. And again, being a victim versus being responsible for our life, we used to think that life is so bad and so unfair, but instead, another very important thing is to understand that everything happened for a reason. And if I do experience something in my life, so I do experience that something for a reason, that means that I gave that to the world. I behaved the same way in my past with someone, so I do have right now that in my life, and I don't like that. So if I don't like that, maybe that's the good thing to learn how to not spread that onto universe, and to spread only the things that we love to receive back in the triple times, in 10 times more than we give. And this is the basic of the karmic management. If you've heard about that, that's awesome. If you did not, that just consider that every action that we do is like a little seed. Today I helped someone and I planted that seed. Today I gave the money to someone and I planted the seed. And when the seed grows, it grows to a plant, and it goes to a tree, and then it brings the fruit, right? It blossoms. So we never take the seed as we plant it, right? It will be bigger. So the same, every action that we spread, that we give to the world, every action that we do, Thank you, Taisha. Every action that we decision that we make, and yes, the steps that we make and everything what we spread to the world, we like planting the seeds, and if we understand that, so we know that, like I said previously in the interview, I don't want to lie, because I know that from the very childhood, like the fairness of life was always with me, and I learned that actually naturally. Later on, when I started to learn the karma management, I realized that, wow, that's interesting, because I never did this or that, because just in the very beginning I got those things coming back to me in 10 times, and I didn't like that. So I learned in practice that I don't need that in my life. So if we consider every step that we take and what we give to the world as a seeds that we plant, and in the future we would have the fruits, or we would have the big trees, so we would be more accurate with those angerness, and with those not so pleasant things and bad things that we give to the world. And again, we do that just when we're in pain. That's why it's very nice to learn our past. It's very nice to learn when it comes from. Let it go, heal ourselves, and be the person who would be pure and who would be able to have more love within you, and to act out of love and not out of fear and out of pain. Insist in the truth. We've been talking about that, and that's the basic things, very common things that we face in our life. When my partner is cold with me, when my partner criticizes me, when he or she's greedy, when he or she's lying, when we experience the anger and we are fighting, and when I want to be Miss Right, or I want to be Mr. Right. And there is much more of those, but I think that's the most interesting things. And if we would stop doing some of those and concentrate on just two or even one of those principles, and stop doing that, we will take the responsibility on our life. And it's not because, oh, life is so unfair, why I have to do that myself. No, look, you're so strong. You could look at yourself as a powerful person who actually create the reality around you. So this is not that life is unfair and it's like a punishment that I have to stop doing that. But this is a blessing that you are healing yourself, and you are more happier, and you can help after people around you to act out of love and not out of fear and not out of pain, and looking in a different way when people doing something not pleasant, because we know that there is the reason for that, why they doing that. And again, if we're not responding on their misbehaving on their on something bad that they do, so we know that I don't respond because I do that for myself, not for him, but for him as well, because I know that my karma, right, that would come back to me, but for myself first. And that's I think that would make our life happier and better somehow. And what we can do for ourselves in order to to cheer up ourselves, right? If, okay, I know that I have some pain within me, and it takes time to heal that, it takes time to go through that, but how I can cheer up beside of that, like just stop doing things what would hurt me back, and stop hurt people. By the way, the main fears in relationship is the fear to be rejected by who we are. And the most common things why we're fighting with each other, because we try to protect our soul from being rejected by who we are. And we're ready to lie because we don't want to show our true soul. We don't want to show who we truly are, because we've been rejected before by who we are. In the beginning of our life, when we've been child and we had those experience with our parents, again, for some reasons, and not because like that's the time to blame them, to blame the people who did that with us, but we have to understand something more. There is the higher reason for that. And so what we can do with that, there is people who we adore, and we see particular features in them. Maybe their strengths, maybe how courage they are, maybe how responsible they are for their life, maybe how loving they are, and they do not respond, do not hurt other people. As we've been talking, that everything starts with us, and we can see something in other people only if we do have that in ourselves. So we see that in other people, those strengths and those beautiful things, because we do have that within us already. So we have everything. We have all the power. We have all of the tools within us already to become that person. So what I would offer you to do, beside doing those techniques and to go through the list that you can stop doing already and understand your pain and what you can feel or can heal already, and go on to that healing. But I encourage you to think who in your life you love and who you admire and what you love about that person, and to try to see those characters, those features of characters, those beautiful things, powerful things, amazing things within you, and to know, to give yourself a big prize that you do have that within you and that you can grow that. So that's it from my side for today. And as I said, I tried to give you some tools that you can already work on, that you can take into consideration. Even think about that. If you will be able to look at yourself and at the people from a different perspective, not from pain, but out of love, that would be a great blessing. And I'm wishing you to have more love within you and to overcome all the obstacles that you do have in life, because everything that we do have the power to overcome that, to go through that. And life and the universe never gives us what we cannot deal with. And basically, this is what we choose by ourselves to deal with. And that's a completely different meaning when we understand that, okay, so for some reasons I wanted to deal with that. And that gives more inspiration, and that gives us more power to do that. I thank you all for being today with me. And I'm very excited that we do have another 2 beautiful speakers in this section. And if you have any questions or comments, I'm ready to speak with you. Thank you, Taishwa. I know that that's so early for you. I can't imagine it's so early morning for you. Guys, if you can open up the cameras, that would be great. If that was interesting for you, if there was something that you know that you can take into actions from today on. In 5 minutes, we have Mahmoud Maihoob about a masterclass about the constructive communication in relationships. Okay, so far as we don't have the questions, I would go and grab the water. I hope that was something that you can take into actions and to have an ideas on how you can help yourself. And I will see you in 5 minutes.
Историю вашего життя. Lounge FM Terrace, 24 hours of summer, every day.
Welcome, Mahmoud. We have another speaker on board, Mahmoud Maihoob. Probably you saw his YouTube video from the TED Talks, and many people were interested to see to be on your masterclass because of your wow TED Talks. Just a quick reminder, Mahmoud is a certified English teacher, life coach, public speaker, and workshop facilitator who aspires to influence people positively and help improve their lives and well-being. And today he's with us with the masterclass about the constructive communication in relationship.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. And yeah, hopefully this is going to be beneficial for all of us and hopefully life-changing. And I hope I don't disappoint you, most of all.
I'm very excited.
Okay, so like Karina said, I'm going to talk about the importance of communication. And how it can change our lives, or it can change our relationships for the better. In general, people communicate all of the time. When we get our morning coffee, we communicate. When we talk to our bosses at work, we communicate. When we go out with our friends, we communicate. But as of late, I've noticed, and I'm sure all of you are going to be with me on this point, that communication in a relationship has become a very, very daunting and, let's say, a complicated task. Partners aren't able to communicate anymore. There's a lot of misunderstanding, confusion, and so on. And yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm going to talk about how we can achieve constructive communication between partners, and hopefully the things I'm going to share with you today are going to be helpful. So yeah, let's start off by explaining the meaning of communication. Communication, by definition, means the transfer of information from one point to another, or from one person to another. In relationships, however, communication allows you to share with your partner what you're experiencing and what your needs are. And it also allows you to become more connected in your relationship. It helps you to become closer with your partner. And excuse me, it is essential to communicate with your partner because, first of all, it's going to help you avoid any misunderstandings, any anger, resentment, and overall confusion in general. But the problem is that all of us have different styles or different ways of communicating. And as the saying goes, it takes two to tango. So in order to achieve constructive and proper communication, the two people involved in the relationship have to work hard in order to achieve this. And improving communication can be a very difficult task and takes a lot of hard work and effort. And I'm going to share with you a couple of personal experiences I've had in my life, first-hand experiences. One of them is a bad example for communication, and the other one is a good example for communication. So let's start off with the bad example in order to end this on a high note. My parents, God bless them, have been together for the better part of 30 years or something. They loved each other very, very much, and they cared about each other very, very much. Their love was almost tangible. But they had a huge problem communicating with each other. They always chose to run away from the part of communicating in order to avoid getting into an argument or getting into a fight or causing problems in general. But by time, the feeling of resentment had started to grow within each of them until they reached a boiling point of not communicating at all. There's a problem. They thought that there's going to be a problem, we'll just avoid it and let the problem solve itself. They thought that they were doing this for the sake of their relationship, and they thought that this was going to help them improve the relationship or avoid an argument or whatever. But by time, their relationship had already imploded, and it was too late. It was too late to save it, and they had to sadly leave each other because at the end of the day, their love and care for each other wasn't enough to save their relationship, because ever since the beginning of their relationship, they had never ever communicated properly or learned how to communicate properly. So that was the bad example. Let's move on to a more positive example. And that example includes a relationship I've been in. Me and my girlfriend at that time, we had a really, really solid ground when it came to communication. We used to communicate everything. We used to talk about everything, no matter how small or trivial we might think it was, and no matter how big or significant it was. We communicated all the time. And we had these unspoken ground rules and this solid foundation between us that by time helped us become more connected and more close together. And as time went on, we almost reached this telepathical way of communicating because since the beginning, or ever since the beginning of our relationship, we communicated all the time. And that was the thing that really, really held us together in our relationship, that we kept communicating and communicating and communicating. We never thought that maybe that's not an issue, or maybe that's not something very significant that we should talk about or whatever. We used to communicate everything, and that helped our relationship thrive at that time. So that's a good example of communication and proper example of communication, which brings us to our next part. How can couples improve communication in their relationships? Number one, no interruptions. because in communication, sometimes you're going to do the talking and at other times you're going to do the listening. So when you're doing the latter, which is the listening, make sure not to interrupt your partner because it might disrupt their flow or their train of thought, and they might not convey the message that they want to deliver in the way that they had wanted because of all of the interruptions and the distractions. So that's one point. Second point is make your message clear and concise. When you're communicating something with your partner, whether it's a problem or something that is good, make sure that you're making it straightforward and clear. Don't talk with them in riddles and don't beat around the bush and avoid saying it clearly, because at the end of the day, that's gonna cause some confusion with your partner. So try to keep the message clear and concise. Next point, share positive feelings. And that's a very, very important aspect, because people nowadays, or couples nowadays, when they communicate or they talk about something, they usually tend to point out the negative aspects instead of pointing out some positive aspects. When they're in an argument or they're in a fight or they're having a problem with each other, they say it in a very negative way. So try to make sure when you're communicating with your partner, when you're saying something that might hurt their feelings or might make them upset, try to also mention the positive things about them. Try to show them how much you care about them, how much you love them, how much you appreciate their presence in your life. Don't make the whole message or the whole idea negative. Try to put out some positive things every now and then. And finally, and that is, in my opinion, the most important part of communication, negotiate. You have to negotiate with your partner. We're not going to have like a debate or a formal negotiation, but you have to know and you have to understand when your relationship is more important than the problem itself. Because in a lot of relationships, pride and ego and stubbornness play a huge part. For example, someone might think that the problem is insignificant, but the other one is going to think that it's big or it's a huge issue, and they're not going to put their foot down. They're going to keep on going and going and going and going and going. So that's why it's important to meet in the middle with your partner, and important to realize that the relationship is more important than the issue itself. But at the end of the day, if all of the previous choices fail, then you'll have to agree to disagree with your partner. But let's take this as a last resort. So all of these were ways to improve verbal communication. There's another type of communication, however, and that's called non-verbal communication, which is just as important as verbal communication. Non-verbal communication conveys a lot of messages without you saying a word or without you uttering a word from your mouth. And that is by hand gestures, body posture, facial expressions, body language in general. All of these things convey a message to your partner or the person in front of you. And it's important to make sure that your verbal communication matches your non-verbal communication. For example, if you're saying to your partner, I love you, if you say it in a flat or in a bored tone, it's going to convey or it's going to deliver two conflicting messages. Message number one is, I love you. Message number two is, it was said in an indifferent and in a bored tone of voice, and that's going to cause confusion to your partner. It's going to make them feel that, okay, he or she said that they love me, but why did he say it in a bored tone or in a flat tone? So that is why non-verbal communication is almost as important, if not more important than verbal communication, because most of the time is the one that gets hurt because at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. People tend to believe actions more than words. And like verbal communication, we have some ways to improve nonverbal communication. Number one, when you're speaking with your partner, make sure to keep comfortable eye contact. Don't look away here or there or up or down or whatever, because it's going to show them that you're not really interested in what they're saying, you're not really comfortable listening to them, or you just flat out don't care about what they're saying. You have to show your partner that you care, even if you think that the issue isn't that important. You have to show them that their concern or that the message that they want to say is important. Number two, gestures and body language. And that is a huge, huge aspect in nonverbal communication, because we make these things subconsciously without being aware that we're making them. When someone is saying something that you don't like, you just frown or you just make this face unexpectedly without controlling it. But all of these are negative things. Make sure that you're making positive gestures or your body language is positive when you're talking with your partner. Try to pat them on the leg or on their shoulder, or show them that, to show that you're actually concerned about what they're facing, or that you actually care about them. Try not to make your body language negative. Try to make it positive, to show them that you really do care about their concern or about what they're saying. And finally, number three, when you're talking with your partner, make sure that you're facing them, not looking the other way or giving them facing their back or whatever. You have to show them face to face, because again, that conveys a message of indifference when you're not facing your partner. Like you're just, yeah, okay, keep going, keep talking, I don't care about what you're saying. You have to face them, show them that you're willing and you want to listen to what they're saying, and that you're comfortable enough to listen to their concern or their problem, or yeah. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys have anything else to point out or have any questions, we can discuss it together. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I've been listening to you, and so what you said is so true. Your point of view, people can learn it, how to communicate, or it's something that comes naturally and they cannot learn that on words. Is this a skill, or is this something that comes natural?
For some people, it comes naturally, but in many cases, it's skill, because, like I said, it's a two-way thing. You have to learn to communicate with your partner. You have to sharpen these skills, and you have to know the ups and downs, or the advantages and disadvantages of the way that you communicate together. So yeah, I guess in most cases, it's definitely a skill, not something that comes naturally. That's very rare, because in our lives in general, we learn and adapt and learn and adapt. So learning how to communicate better, or learning how to communicate in a proper way, is something that you have to work on. It's not a talent, it's a skill.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think that something can stop people from wanting learning it? How to communicate?
Something might stop them.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that might stop them is that if they decide to work on their communication skills or communicating with each other when it's too late. Like the example that I mentioned with my parents, they tried and tried and tried and tried to communicate better or in a proper way, but by that time it was already too late, because the damage was done. So yeah, in my opinion, that's the only thing that might not make people willing to do that, because if they don't try to fix the problem at the beginning, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes unfixable. So yeah, timing is everything. The moment you feel that there's a problem with your partner and something that you gotta communicate or you gotta talk about, do it right now at the very moment, because if you leave a problem and then another problem and then another problem, it's gonna be too late by then.
Yeah, I met people like you are talking about that. They just better would leave something and that would be resolved on its own way, just without the need of communicate about that or to work on that. And my parents basically they some kind of at some point they do the same. Yeah, do you think that maybe that's type of personality, you know, or this is again something that we can learn, or for example maybe there is type of personality who would never agree to that?
Of course, personality plays a huge part in this. And like I mentioned before, it is a skill, of course, but it depends on the personality as well, because again, ego and pride play a huge part in this kind of situations. When you have a huge ego or pride, you always think that you're correct or right all of the time. So you're not gonna see, or you're not gonna view that you're doing a wrong thing or you're hurting your relationship in the process. You have to be willing to do the work with your partner, not just your partner. So yeah, personality definitely plays a huge part in this, in improving the skill of communication.
Sometimes we're too cruel or too blind to understand and to say that the partner is suffering, and that's very time to help or to give a hand or to make a step toward the partner, then instead of leaving the problem, because that would lead to the biggest issue in the issues in the future. I'm totally agree with you. Yeah. Do you think there is a difference in between men and women communication, and that might cause a problem just because we have the different nature?
That's a really sensitive topic. Okay, I'm gonna try to go about in a neutral point of view from this.
Oh, this women.
No. Look, from my experience and from what I've seen, women tend to communicate more than us, and that is a good point. That is a plus, because men tend to be a bit more proud, and I don't want to say egotistical, but we have a bigger ego by nature, because most men believe that they're the alpha and the woman is the omega, which I don't agree with, because I believe that people are equal in anything. It doesn't matter what the gender is, but they are equal. And I believe in equality in relationship, and I believe in supporting equality between the genders, because, well, I'm sure you know that right now there's a huge sexism problem in the world. But men, they tend to fix rather than listen to what the problem is. And women, at times, they just want to be heard. They want someone to listen to their problems. They don't want you to give them a solution. They want you to listen to their problem, to their needs, to their concerns. And then when you listen to them, you can find a solution together. Men, I guess we can say, to conclude this, men are a bit more practical and pragmatic than women are, or most men, I guess. They tend to avoid the hassle. They just want to find a solution. And I don't think that's correct, of course. You have to show your partner that you respect their needs, you respect their concerns. You have to show them that you care in general. They don't want to find a solution. They want to talk and they want to be heard. So men are more practical. Women, I guess, I don't want to say more emotional, but they tend to communicate more. And I think that this is something that we should learn from them as men, to communicate more and to listen to them.
we are more emotional. That's true. Our nature is so we reacting differently. Like if something happens, like we're so excited, that's a blast, and men would. Well, I won't say majority. We're all different, and there are very emotional men in the world, and many of emotional men, and like it's all okay by the end of the day if we are okay with that or if we are not okay. From that point, if Taisha said we're nurturers by nature. Yeah. If that might be annoying for men, if women would ask to talk to her or would ask for more of communication, and he would not want to do that, or maybe there is such a thing as not the right time to speak to a man, and women do not understand that.
I don't think it's about men or women when it comes to that part. Timing is definitely, of course, a huge aspect. But for example, I might be having a bad day and my partner is having a problem or she wants to talk about something. So the wise and the right thing to do is to, I guess, try to postpone this to another time, and vice versa. Of course, if my partner is having a problem and I want to talk with her about something, but let's assume that she's had a really, really bad day at work. I'm not going to go say, hey, I have a problem. Let's talk right now. Timing is, of course, essential. So I don't think it has to do with men having a bad day or whatever. It has to do with both genders having a bad day. So yeah, timing is definitely a huge and important aspect when it comes to communication.
Yeah, I agree. And we covered that topic one time in a podcast about that. Sometimes when we're coming to our partner and we're saying, hey, honey, can you talk to me just right now? And when we see that man is busy doing something else, or for example, the difference of our minds, when women can do like multiple tasks at the same time and we don't bother like cooking something or like being into the project and then at the same time talking to a man, and man, yeah, I will. Okay, Taisha said you definitely want your point received. Sorry, just a minute. You definitely want your point received well. Timing is everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the point that we were talking about. That timing is very important.
Yeah. So we can. I think that this is what I admit by mostly what women does, by the way, not men. We can come and ask like, hey, can we do this, or can you fix that? And it's just like waiting, hey, can you just do that straight away? Like, it doesn't matter what you do right now, if you're busy or if you are watching something or if you are doing anything. And that's kind of like lack of respect, because men can accept that as like, what I do right now is not important for you, or you're not taking that as something important, and you are willing me to do something what you think is important. And it hurt the feeling on men that way. What would you think about that? Like, is it so, or like it depends upon the person who would consider that, or who would not that sensible, sensitive for that?
Well, sometimes when, let's say, both parties are having a bad day and they really don't want to talk about what's happening or whatever, sometimes they have to compromise and put their problems or their bad day aside and concentrate with their respective partners and talk about maybe the huge issue that they're facing. And in any relationship, there's going to be a lot of compromisation and there's going to be a lot of sacrifice. So, like I said, it takes two people to tango. So you gotta do your part, and your partner's gonna do his or her part. Sometimes you might think that you don't want to listen, or you don't have the energy to listen. But like anything in life, you have to exert a specific amount in effort in order to reach a good end product or a good result. So sometimes when you do have a bad day, you just have to put that aside and listen to your partner and talk with them. If the issue is gigantically urgent, you just gotta do that for your partner, because at the end of the day, they're your partner and you love them, and that's one of the most important aspects in every relationship, to compromise and to sacrifice and listen to your partner.
Hey, people, you should listen to that man saying such an important thing. I mean, it's not, because mainly women who are covering those topics, like, hey, like your partner is someone precious. If you're in relationship, so please, like, let's take care, like, of each other. This is what I saw, that women mostly, like, taking the advantage, or like being the one who, how to say that, like ask about that, but not the man. But men are suffering because of that. Oh, Taisha is asking, I will be speaking on what type of listener are you in a relationship? Do you know what? No, I think I'm not into types. I don't know about that.
Well, there are different ones. So you can be a reactive listener, or just a receiver. If you're reactive, that means you're listening to the person and you're actually going to adhere to what they're saying. You're going to fulfill the request. If you're not just listening to say, okay, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I understand. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Because then you're dealing with someone who's either a visual listener, a verbal listener, or a reactive listener. So if you're dealing with someone who's just verbal, they just respond to whatever you're saying, or they're reactive. They're like, okay, I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to actually follow through on the things that you're requesting. So there are different types of listeners when it does come to that situation.
Yeah. Wow.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Karina. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mahmoud. I'm sorry.
What was the question again? I forgot.
No, I think we covered that question. I would ask, sometimes couples, they meet, for example, mixed couples or people from different countries, and they are actually, they have lack of understanding of each other. So is that might be an issue, is that might be a problem at that point, when people cannot actually ask each other, like, hey, let's pick how we would react, like, in this situation, like, what we would do, like, what do you think about that, how do you feel about those things, like, is that important, or people can actually use, like, something is about the communication that can make them happier, and what, like, is that a sensitive topic about the people who are from different countries, or mixed couples?
Well, that's a very good point, actually, because it happens a lot when two people get married. They're from different countries, and well, most of us, or most of the participants here right now, are from different countries. We come from different backgrounds, and we have a different mentality and different perspective of seeing things. But I guess in that case, you just have to sit down and agree with your partner on what to do when this specific situation happens, what might tick them off, what's the little things that make them upset, or the little things that make them happy. And when you make an agreement with them, or you agree on these things, by time when you get to know each other, you'll find a way of reaching a proper solution or a proper conclusion together. And at that point, it's not gonna matter whether you come from different cultures or whether you come from a different country or whatever, because at the end of the day, you have to accept your partner as he or she is, regardless of culture or race or whatever. So again, like I said, and I mentioned earlier, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes the two people working in that or on that matter to improve that. So my advice is, if you're from different cultures, sit together, agree. You have to know what pulls their strings, or what makes them upset, what makes them happy. And then by time you're going to get used to this together, and you're going to get used to each other, and the barrier of communication, or the barrier of culture, the barrier of different country isn't going to matter anymore. So like I said, consistency and time is going to improve it.
What is it important to agree on important points in the beginning, when people are just meet each other, and before they decide that okay, I know that this, or I feel that this person is my type, or just the right person for myself, and I want to be with him or with her, like right now, let's say, right? Like I feel like that's something right for us to do, like to be together. Like, isn't that the mistake, that people don't try to get to know each other? They just like attracted, they are affectionate by each other, but they don't try to get to know each other. Is that can be fixed then after, or it might be like too late maybe after?
Having an agreement about communicating with your partner, it's not the number one thing that you're going to do in the relationship. In my opinion, that's a last resort, because we're not doing a business deal here. We're going, hey, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3. It's not going to work like that. You have to know, to get to know your partner with their perks, with the things that they love about themselves, the things that they love about you, and vice versa. And you just got to accept each other the way that they are, and you got to accept their nature. Having an agreement in communication is when things are getting critical, or things are hitting rock bottom, or like we said in the previous question, when you come from two different and two totally different backgrounds or different countries. But at the end of the day, when you meet someone that you like, or someone that you're attracted to, you got to get to know them first. You're not going to set some rules and set some things in stone and not going to change them at all. You have to get to know them, what you like about them, what you might not like about them, and they're going to do the same for you. Because at the end of the day, acceptance is everything. You have to accept your partner with their flaws, and at the end of the day, they're going to accept you with your flaws, because no one is perfect. Let's face it. I have my flaws. Everyone has their flaws. So it's a matter of acceptance at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a pleasure to listen to smart men. I'm so blessed that we do have we do have you guys over here. If at some point communication may harm, it helps us. If that might harm, and at which point do you think it might harm?
At which point I think it might harm is if you, let's say for example, I told my partner something and it really, really hurt her. And then I said it again and it hurt her again. And then I said it again and it hurt her again. That's when it becomes a bit hurtful to them. If you keep communicating the same message to them over and over again, and you know and willingly know that it's going to hurt them, that's when communication becomes a bit detrimental, or it becomes disadvantageous. You have to know what upsets your partner and try to either fix it or avoid it. Don't hurt them on purpose. You know that you're going to say something that's going to hurt them on purpose, then what's the point of even saying it? Don't hurt your partner on purpose. It's going to make them resent you, or it's going to make them have some bent up anger or resentment inside of them. And by time, it's going to come crashing down on your head. So never ever communicate or say a message to your partner that you know is going to hurt them. Just try to find another way to say it, or I'm not going to say sugarcoat, but try to deliver your message in a different way, rephrase it, whatever, do what you gotta do, but don't hurt them and blatantly hurt them on purpose.
Yeah, that's very true. And Taisha said that dishonesty hurts. That's very true.
Of course, lying and dishonesty hurt a lot, and lying to me is a red line. If someone is lying in a relationship, then that's a red line. It can be fixable, of course, but something, when your partner lies to you, something inside of you breaks. This feeling of trust, it doesn't become solid or steel, made of steel anymore. It becomes made of glass. Once it's broken, it's broken. It's unfixable. And that's why I believe that honesty is the best policy, and you have to be honest with your partner from day one until, well, the last day. You have to be honest with your partner, because lying will never get you anywhere, and dishonesty will never ever get you anywhere. It's going to cause problems and problems and problems. If you think that by lying you're going to avoid a problem and you're going to avoid an argument or a fight or whatever, no. At the end of the day, if your partner finds out that you lied to him or to her, it's going to cause a bigger problem than the one that you had intentionally tried to avoid. And I believe that you got to be honest, even if it's going to get you into trouble. Because people in general, we as human beings, we appreciate honesty and we appreciate truth. We don't like lying. We hate lying. It always causes problems. So even if you're going to get into trouble, you got to be honest all the time.
Sometimes, yeah, we're just afraid of what would happen if we would tell the truth, and we're so afraid to, again, be rejected by what we did or by what we like, by just who we are, and that caused the lie in our life. And I think that can be fixed actually with the with this self-love, once we grow and heal all of those traumas why we've been rejected. And I love actually this idea that we hurt by people and we healed by people as well. So there is such model that like ideally, if we find the right person for us and we know that there is some struggles that we had in the past, so we can say honestly, hey, you know, I feel insecure over here, so I would need your hand and I would need your support in this instance. And the ideal way of resolving is when in return, person would say, yeah, I would love to support you and I would be there with you. But yeah, that's it. Taisha asked to repeat about dishonesty and lying. See, that's very important.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to add another point.
Sorry. We have yeah, there is the how to say that, like people are checking on us and the universe sending me trials today happening.
So like I said, there's just one more point I want to add about honesty and lying. Like I said, even if you get into trouble with being honest, your partner is the person who's gonna accept you the most, more than anyone else, because they're gonna know you more than anyone else. So if you're afraid that you're gonna get into trouble and then you choose to lie, it's gonna cause a problem, because your partner is supposed to be your safe zone. They should accept you and accept anything that you say, even if it hurts you or it hurts them. Your safe zone. So don't ever think that lying is the best option. Lying is not the key towards solving a problem in a relationship or towards saving a relationship. But what is the key is that your partner is supposed to be your safe zone, and they have to, they have to accept you as who you are and for what you are. So don't ever be afraid of being honest, even if it's going to get you into trouble.
Sometimes, though, we ask people to accept ourselves where we cannot accept ourselves. That's very interesting how we behave sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, What about sometimes, about the communication, when one person don't want to listen to us, we think that there is no love. If he's not listening to me, or if she's not listening to me, he doesn't love me anymore.
I wouldn't say that he doesn't love you anymore. I'd say that that person just doesn't care about listening to you anymore, or about the communication part anymore, because they might be drained from I don't know, several aspects in their lives. But I wouldn't say that they don't love each other anymore, because like I said, my parents, they used to love each other very, very much, a lot. It was like a fairy tale thing. And their problem is that, or the thing that ended their relationship, was that because they never communicated at all. Even though they loved each other so much and they were together for a really long time, but they couldn't care about solving their problems anymore, or they couldn't care about trying to fix things between each other anymore. So I wouldn't say that they don't love their partner, but no, it's because it's just that they never had, or maybe the solid foundation and the ground rules for communication had never existed between them. So that's why they don't listen to each other anymore. I don't think it has to do with love.
Yeah, it's I think it's a kind of the self-confidence, or something that happened to us in the past when we wanted to be heard, and by the end of the day, like we've been rejected, and we took that thing when somebody didn't want to listen to us as a like acceptance that, like, when people do not listen to us, that they do not love us anymore. Like we experience that with our parents sometimes. There is such a thing as if man has a problem or has some issue, he would rather talk. If he needs to talk, sometimes he's not bringing that to his woman, but he would willing to talk about those issues with the person whom he respects, with the person who he think he can take the like the advice from, or like who could support him, and like emotionally, or like somehow like more strong than him, kind of mentor. And is that like true at some point, to some extent, or should women be worried about that and be jealous or something like that?
Well, in my opinion, I guess it depends on the man, and the man's personality. A lot of men talk with their partner or their woman when they're having a problem or there's something that's bothering them. I used to do this. If the other part of the relationship in this point is the woman, if she conveys to her man or shows her man that she is his safe zone, and she's not only his partner, she's also the person that he should go to when he's having a problem, then why wouldn't her man go and talk to her? So I guess it depends on the man, and it depends on the woman providing that sense of security and sense of comfort to him. And is that emotional? That's a very good question. In my opinion, yes, because if I go and communicate with my woman about something that's bothering me, and she doesn't do the same thing, then that's gonna make me really, really upset. If she finds comfort and if she finds safety in someone else and she doesn't find it in me, yeah, I'll feel like she's cheating on me. She's not cheating on me, but I'll get the feeling that she's doing something behind my back, or she finds comfort in someone else. That's gonna destroy me as a man. So, like I said, you have to give your partner the sense of comfort and the sense of security when you're talking with them, or vice versa when he or she is talking back to you. Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you, Isha. That was a great point.
What would you say to mentor or to mentor or to a man or to a woman who doesn't want to listen to their partners for some reasons? They don't like that. They just don't think that that's necessary. Whatever.
I tell them that if they think that it's not an important issue, or it's not something that should concern them, by time they're gonna drift apart from their partner. And to connect to the previous point, their partner is going to find someone else who's going to listen, or they're going to find that safety and comfort in someone else. So it is important to listen, and it is important to communicate, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect your relationship, marriage, or whatever. People take communication for granted so much, because they think by doing that they're avoiding a problem, or they're avoiding a fight or whatever. But by time, these bent up feelings will come back to haunt you, and it might be the cause or the reason why your relationship is gonna end, or why your relationship is getting affected by that. So I tell them that you have to know what's at stake. You have to know that by time your relationship is going to be in a bad place if you don't show your partner that you're willing to listen to them, or you're not going to show your partner that what they say matter, or all of this. So I guess that should be an incentive for them to actually start communicating with your partners. They have to know that the relationship is at stake.
Do you have the question over there? Because I received just extremely interesting question.
Yeah, I have a question here. If they are dishonest, how do you communicate with dishonest people? Again, like I said, lying and dishonesty, eventually, they're gonna get caught. But what I do in general, and that's in general with people, not in a relationship. I tend to go along with the lie and see where people, or what people are gonna say at the end. And when they're done talking, or when they're done with their lie, I'm gonna confront them and tell them that I know that you're lying. I know that you're just saying a lot of nonsense, and I know what the truth is. And at the end of the day, that feeling of embarrassment and shame forces people to become honest with you. It forces them to think twice before lying to you. No, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go through that embarrassing feeling again, or that feeling of shame. I mean, God, I look so puny and small in front of them right now. So that's what I do, and it works. When you go along with the lie and then you tell the person that you actually know what the truth is, it works. It makes them stop lying to you. So that's how I deal with dishonest people in general, not in a relationship. Because in my relationship, I never lied at all to my girlfriend, and she did the same thing. So that's what I do with people who are dishonest in general.
I received another question. How can you communicate about the jealousy in a positive way?
How can you communicate jealousy in a positive way? Yeah, I just got that question too. Look, and again, I'm gonna walk a fine line here about jealousy, because it's a very sensitive topic. Jealousy usually ends in a bad way, because your emotions drive you when you're jealous. You don't think properly, or you don't think in a wise way when you're jealous. You think with your heart, or you think with your emotions. You have to talk in a sensible way. You have to show the other person that that thing bothered you. It really, really annoyed you, and it's a problem for you. But if you go and fight and shout and yell, I'm jealous, you did this, and that other woman drives me insane, or that other man drives me insane, the problem is not going to be fixed or solved. You have to talk about it, or most importantly, you have to show, or you have to make the other person understand how you feel. You have to show them and tell them in a constructive way, I'm jealous because of this and this and that. They have to understand how you're feeling. Just don't go and fight with them because I am jealous. No, you have to show them, and you have to make them understand how you're feeling. And you have to give them the liberty and the option to react. It's their right. And it's your right to get jealous over your partner, and vice versa. It's your partner's right to get jealous over you. And at the end of the day, if your love and care are strong enough in your relationship, he or she are going to understand, and he or she are going to stop the thing that's making you jealous.
How do you think should parents be well, not concerned, but should they teach their children how to communicate? Or naturally, children learn from just watching the actions of their parents, or they somehow like can be fixed even if parents like their communication doesn't work or doesn't go well, but they still can teach their children, like, you know, that doesn't works well, but you should try, or you should do yourself this and that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Parents have to teach their children how to communicate, the proper way of communicating, and the wrong way of communicating, what to do and what not to do, if they know how to do that. They have to demonstrate that. They have to show their children the proper ways of communication by actually doing that with their partners in front of them. Because kids, they are influenced and they are affected by everything around them, whether it's positive or negative. So if you show them a positive way of communicating, that's going to reflect on them. But however, if you show them a negative way of communicating, that's going also to affect them, but in a bad way. So definitely communication should be taught from a young age if the parents have the ability to communicate, and if they have the ability to have a positive environment or a positive way of communicating around their kids.
Do you think that that's worse to you know, about the relationship and about the communication and other very important topics that we will speak about today? Should that be considered as like another subject at schools or at universities? Because mainly people are learning that when they are facing the problems, and before that they just like they don't know what to do with that because they haven't been taught.
Yes, of course. I used to teach communication skills in one of my previous jobs, and like I said, communication happens all around us, and it's become a huge, huge aspect nowadays in our lives. Communication skills is a huge, huge advantage if you have it, and it's a huge disadvantage if you don't have it. For example, if you're a boss and you have your own business, if you communicate in an improper way with your employees, they're not gonna perform as expected, or they might just flat line quit, and that's it. So yeah, communication skills should be taught. And like I said, I used to teach it. It has to be practiced, of course, because you can't memorize how to communicate properly. It's not a subject at school. It's more of a practical thing. So it has to be practiced, of course. But yeah, at the end of the day, of course, I'm a huge advocate of teaching communication as a subject, whether at school or at universities or whatever. It's very important. It's a life skill that should definitely be taught and should definitely be brought more attention towards.
That was truly beautiful. I agree with you, and I think that people who are watching us and who would watch this video, they agree the same. That was there was lots of the so important information that they can use and they can take it and change the way they communicate with each other and understand how they hurt or how they can care about each other more. That was so wow. Thank you about that.
Thank you.
That was Mahmoud Maihoob, ladies and gentlemen. If you would have any questions about the communications, or you love him as a coach, as you love his personality, contact him. You see that. Well, I'm actually just that's not for the compliments, but I love when you talk with the wise man. It's like, oh wow, that's so just you can listen and listen and listen and listen. Oh, applauses and beautiful comments.
Thank you very much, and I hope that everyone else enjoyed that. And yeah, hopefully that was beneficial and useful for all of us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, again, I'm speechlessly honest. I'm really happy, and I really appreciate everything they just said. So yeah, thank you so much.
That's very true. Thank you, Mahmoud. We will have the next speaker in the 2 minutes. Patrick, another charming person who would speak. He's a crisis manager, and he works on the how to help people to overcome the crisis in relationships. That's another wow thing to do, and he's a savior basically. If you help people to overcome the crises, so you're saving the life of relationships, right? So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would listen. I'm so happy girl today. I can listen to many men and many beautiful ladies, and blessed to be around you. Okay, we have 1 minute of break, if you don't mind, and then in 1 minute we come back and we start the next masterclass.
Okay.
Okay, we have Patrick here with us. Hello, Patrick, first of all.
Hello, Karina. How are you?
Awesome. Very happy to have you here. I would introduce you. Patrick is accredited life coach, practitioner with CTAA. He's a strategic relationships, goal setting, crisis management practitioner, entrepreneur, author of the book Decoding Hidden Talents, and a motivational speaker for up to 16 years. A qualified motion and graphic designer and CEO of newly company studio Pilot Media. Welcome, Patrick. That's, as I said, it's very well, and I'm more than happy to listen to you.
Thank you, Karina. I'm also excited to be part of this wonderful program. And I've learned a lot so far, and I know I'm going to learn so many things, great stuffs. Okay, so
excited.
Yeah, like what you have said, Patrick, Nerpetz Patrick, but many people, because they struggle to pronounce my name, the first name, that's why I use Patrick. But the Patrick is a surname. So Patrick, but my first name is Nerpetz. So thank you. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be part of this wonderful project, Grow Love Online, and I'm taking on my topic, how to build healthy relationships. How to build healthy relationships. I know it's one of the tough topic that like what you said earlier on, that you have to be a practitioner, you have to help people how to grow and build relationships. And so it takes a lot of things. When you are such kind of a practitioner, you have to deal with so many issues, and you have to really help people to succeed in whatever they are doing. So basically, I am a healthy relationship practitioner, a coach, a life coach, a strategic life coach. So first of all, I want to give you this introduction on relationships building skills that are combined of soft skills, and also that a person has to apply, or they have to apply to connect with another person and form a positive relationship. As opposed to many beliefs, people have got so many reasons why they enter into relationships or why they are into relationships. For example, some people are engaged because of maybe they were attracted, or some people because they really love the person, some because of the beauty, some because of so many different reasons. But I know, opposed to these ways, many people, they also have their own ways on interpreting it. But this is one of the things that I've discovered, and also I've seen that it works, and actually it's the true meaning of why people enters into relationships. So these are most of the basic things that makes people to enter into relationships. So the motives and the agendas are also part of the relationship. So this course is to help the people in the relationships, whether it's a new relationship or you want to enter into a relationship, or a couple, or you are married, and so on. So it's also going to let you identify some of the shortfalls and the things which are not right. And at the same time, how you can grow and become a better person, because the reason is for us to become better people to our partners. So I have got like points that I'm going to start with. So one of the points is these are key and objectives. So this I'm going to cover. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to cover all the points, all these points, but I'll try to give in. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
Okay, yeah. So these are some of the key points that I'm going to stress out. So the first point is going to be a racial identity. If we don't know why we enter into a relationship, it's going to be difficult for us to be in a relationship. I heard you, Karina, when you are speaking, motivating us. You quoted about the reasons that everything happens for a reason. But in most cases, people, they prefer to shift the reason. They take the feelings first that, okay, it's because I'm feeling in this way. But actually, before the feeling, there is a reason why a person will enter into a relationship. That's why I said that we have got different reasons why we enter into relationship. And also another part is a relation value, the values that we have. And these are values that makes people not to be comfortable in a relationship because we are sharing different core values and someone has a different value. Okay, so these we are also going to stress out, and also we are going to look at the relationship rules, the rules that we set out to in the relationship, and also how to avoid fights and how to deal with negative feelings, self techniques to overcome suffering. Right. So first of all, I'm gonna speak about racial identity. The first thing is to identify the nature of the relationship that you are in. So this is going to help us identify why we are in the relationship. Is it just because we want to have fun? Is it because we want to grow? Is it serious? Is it not serious? So when we identify the real reason why we are in a relationship, it's going to help us so much. So we have to do a self-assessment because this is the main key. The self-assessment is the main key to understand the growth part. If you don't know yourself, it's not easy to know whether you are growing or you are not growing. So we have to engage self-assessment to understand fully about our lives and about everything. Now, let's assume this is the new relationship. It's early stage of the relationship. So the first aspect is to define whether you want to commit yourself into a relationship or you just want to have fun, or you are trying to, maybe some people, they will be in a relationship just to pass time, when they are trying to figure out whether the person is the real person that they want to be involved with. I wanted to speak about the steps of the relationship, but because of time, and I know some great coaches are also going to stress out much on that. So therefore, the first thing is you have to understand your partner. With those reasons, you have to understand your partner. If you don't understand your partner, then whatever reason you are in a relationship, it's not gonna work, because you are going to be doing two different things with the two different reasons and the motives. So avoiding being in a relationship with a person you are not comfortable with is one of the key. You don't enter into a relationship with somebody you are not comfortable with, and that is going to bring a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of fights, so this is one of the first tip that when you are entering into a relationship, whether it's for fun or whatever reason, you need to know that you are not entering into a relationship with a person you are not comfortable with. If you are in a relationship with somebody you are not comfortable with, it's not gonna be something that you wanted. So another key is make sure not to make promises that you can't keep. Many people, they enter into relationships and promises you a whole lot of things. They will say a whole lot of things and things that they cannot fulfill. And at the end of the day, it can kill your relationship, whether it's new or is something that has been in existence. So these are some of the identification of the relationship. Before we stress much on the relationship, you have to find out if you have the main life goals in common. Love, work, sharing, or children. It's very important. If you want to take things out serious, it's very important to know. And you have to be aware that you are going through several difficulties, and you have to be willing to overcome them with courage. Now, to live peacefully and engagement of a marriage, you need to review your habits and have the ability to adapt to the new status and be willing to accept changes that occur in a relationship. These are some of the factors that a lot of people have missed when they enter into relationships. So all of us, we have got expectations in a relationship, but the main expectation is to be loved. But I think that's where we miss a lot. The main fact is to be together for a longer period. But for us to be together for a longer period, there are so many things that are involved. Just like Mahmoud said concerning the communication and so on and so forth. So for us to be able to be in a relationship for a longer period, those are some of the things that we need to understand. That is not just gonna be fine. It's not just gonna be heaven on earth. It's gonna be some challenges here and there, misunderstanding, fights, miscommunication in different ways. So those are some of the things that we have to understand. And also in a relationship, there are some other things like habits. Some people, we are different people. Like my friend said that we come from different countries. Some people would be that they are in a relationship with somebody who is not, who are not sharing the same values, and also they are not sharing the same country and culture and so many things. So when we are growing up, we met a lot of people with different habits that we saw that, no, I don't think I can do this, okay? Because of how maybe we are brought up and where we are coming from. Those habits, they come to us, we develop them, or they are developed, or either maybe we see from our friends, from different things. So we take those habits into a relationship with somebody who's got different habits as well. But at the same time, what we want to see is the relationship work and stay longer, and to the point of you are understanding each other in so many different ways, making plans and so on and so forth. So these habits are the reasons why they block a lot of people to succeed, and also to create so many unnecessary tension and fights in a relationship, that it does not grow For example, somebody or one of the partner would have a habit that they, they love something. I don't know what example I can give, but you are not comfortable with their habit and you want them to change, but they are not ready to change. They will tell you that, no, I've been doing this, and wherever I've been, people have accepted me with these kinds of habits. So in that case, it's not gonna work, because they are two different things. They are habits that we term and we enter into relationships. So the first thing we need to understand is that relationship is between two people, us and our partner. So if this relationship is going to work, we have to agree on terms on how it's gonna work. At the same time, we need to find ways to make it work. If we cannot sit down and find ways and just enjoy the love feeding and so on, after some few time or some few days or months, you'll find that there are now problems. That's when you start seeing those kind of challenges, those kind of problems. But earlier on, you couldn't, you cannot see them because your life is overflooded with love. So those feelings, you cannot see them. So it's not easy to see them when you just started new. But also to some other couples, some of the people, they have failed to resolve the issues pertaining the habits because another person was not willing to change their habits. Okay, so those habits, they are affecting the growth of the love life and the relationship to the point that people can be in a relationship for 5 years, 8 years, just persevering for the sake of maybe they love the person, and the person, they are not even willing to change. So in this case, before you decide to grow, you first need to know, sit down and discuss and point out things. What kind of a relationship do you want with your partner? Okay. What kind of a relationship do you want with your partner for things to work out? If you don't talk about this, things will not just change automatically. You have to sit down and find out. It's very important. If you remember, I talked first about the value, which I'm gonna talk the next before I finish talking about the identification of your relationship. Okay, so you have to find time and sit down with your partner to decide what kind of a relationship do you want? Do you want us to be? Is it a long-term relationship, or is just a relationship that we just want to have fun, that we can just overlook some other things and move on with our lives? But if you really want to take things up higher, then you need to sit down, find time, and talk about everything that you want to make sure that this is gonna make our relationship work. So when you have time to talk about, you need to be open to each other. You have to be open to each other, and you have to stress out the truth about what you want. That is going to identify if you share the same values with the person. When you talk about what you want in a relationship and how do you expect it to be, I know it may not be the same way you want it, because the other person might also have their own ways, how they want things to go out. So, but the first thing is you need to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself and just accepting anything, it's not gonna work. You end up being on the wrong side because you accepted things that you cannot commit yourself to. Like what I said, that you have to be honest, and also in the same way, you need to be true to yourself, to the things that you want to achieve in a relationship. Now, in the reasons that you have provided your partners, for the growth. There are also reasons that your partner cannot fulfill them. That's when you see that many people, they find it difficult and they get caught and they start, running away from their responsibilities because those reasons were not met and they were not given such responsibility, such reasons to why they wanted that particular person. So because of that, you find that the person starts getting caught and, start running away from their responsibilities and start changing their behaviors. And those are one of the reasons that they didn't find what they were looking for. Maybe the first thing was just a feeling of having someone, but if you ask them to be committed, they cannot be committed. If you want to talk out, they cannot talk things out. They just want to so Tishua, I'm gonna go back to talk about the accepting those habits. Yeah, so like what I was saying, if those things are not met, you will find that the people or the person they are now resenting. They will start now reversing their decision. Why they first said that they love you, but now they no longer love you. Why? Because the reason was not met. So many reasons that have made people to make wrong decisions. So many reasons that have made people be in a relation with wrong people, a wrong partner. So many reasons that have made people to be fighting now because they didn't really find a proper reason why they wanted to enter into a relationship. In a simple way, a reason could be, maybe I want to be with you for the rest of my life and love you. It's a fact, but it's not easy because there are so many challenges and there are so many things attached to that word. There are so many things that we are going to face in life that can even make you to change your mind, So, but if you have a reason that you really love the person, whatever comes along the way, you cannot change because you know that you have a reason why you want to be in that relationship. Many times people would just want to try out things, maybe they have seen a guy or a woman they interested to be in relationship with, so they just want to try maybe something new, maybe based on what they feel. So if those are such of the reason, that's why most people, they will be in problem, because when you are now together, you start seeing things like the habits and so on and so forth that are not what you expected. But before you were there, you only saw maybe the beauty out of it that attracted you. So my suggestion is, we need first to find a reason. The reason is important for us to be in a relationship. You need to find a reason. That's why I said that if you are in a relationship with someone you are not comfortable with, which means the reason that you are in a relationship was not a genuine reason, because that reason is coming back to you because you have discovered that no, this person is not the right person and you cannot commit yourself to that person. But that genuine reason, when you have the genuine reason, whatever you see in that person, you know that you're gonna work something out of it. You love the person not because of what they have, or but you love the person because of who they are. So the habits, let me go back to the habits. There are so many habits that we have in our lives that can destroy relationships, marriages, and they can destroy us in so many ways. Those habits, they are what made people to not grow, to start fighting and quarrel and do all sorts of things. Because one, the habit is something that you created. You created and you accepted it in your life. You created it, it's a behavior that you allowed it, but that's not what defines you. It's just a habit that you can stop, but nobody or no one can force you to stop it. You have to choose, because such habits are the ones that will make the relationship strong, because they will make the relationship strong, and at the same time, they are going to hate our partners. They are going to hate people. They are going to hate ourselves, and they are just going to make things very bad for us. The habits that we keep in our lives, when we look at ourselves, do they really help us, or just because we are used to have them? Do they really help us, or just because we are used to have them, that no, it's something that I'm used to do, so I can't change. So to start deciding on the habits, you really need to know the value why you are in a relationship. If you don't know the value of that relationship, you don't see any need for you to change the habit. So the reason why many people, they don't want to change their habits is because they have not yet really discovered the value of the relationship. They just think, no, we are just sharing love and so on. So this person accepted me, even if they don't like what I do. They accepted it as a way of life, but it's not the way of life. There are some of the things that make our partners or people not to be comfortable with us. So as human beings, we have to change our ways in so many things, not because of ourselves, but because of other people. Not because the people don't love us. They love us, but they also want us to be a better person. So those habits, they actually make us to be someone who is not actually accepted fully. People might just maybe pretend that, no, we are in this together, but they know that, no, I don't really like this thing. So going down, I want to speak about the values. Okay, there are decisions to be made at the end of the day, and we are the people who can make the decisions. There are decisions that are supposed to be made at the end of the day, and we are the rightful people, not our partners, to make a decision for us. Us, we have the responsibility to make the decision in whatever we see that is not right or is not moving well. So those decisions, not all the decisions were that are made are correct. Some decisions are not correct in the opinion. That's when the values comes in the decision, because when you know the value, that the core value of who you are, you'll be able to know how to make certain decisions. And the problem with a lot of people is they don't know themselves. They expect somebody to change, but if someone comes to you and say, you also need to change in A, B, C, D. People start fight because they don't know themselves. Because what maybe the person is trying to say is, okay, what I like about you is A, B, C, D. And I also want you to do the same. That is because there is a failure of defining core values of ourselves. But to define them, we really need to know what are our core values. To make this session simple, I'll just stress out maybe 5 core values for us. Some of the values that we may have are honest, accountability, things like open communication, like what Mahmoud said, and financial philosophy and anger management. Without honest and trust, it's nearly impossible to build a stable relationship. So honest is one of the values. Maybe you have, or I have, that I have to, I like someone who is honest. Okay, this is the value, that one of the value that I like the person who is honest. If the person is not honest, then it's not gonna work, because already they are not in line with your values, what you want. Okay, so another one is accountability. Accountability is something that is so frustrating, you know, when the person, they don't take responsibility about the relationship. It's not easy to be in a relationship with that kind of a person. You might be willing to be in a relationship, or you might love them the way they are, but if they are not serious, they are not accountable, which means they are not serious. They are, you know, they are just be there. They will just be in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, and it becomes a burden. And this is one of the value. And also open communication, like what Mahmoud said. Open communication is something we talked much earlier on about this, the open communication. Learning how to communicate better with your partner is a skill. Like what he said, that some people are born with that skill, but so many people, they have to develop it. You have to be willing to develop that skill, and it's a must. Okay, so if it's one of the values your partner they want, then, and you know the reason why you are in that relationship and why you love them, I'm sure it may not be easy, but it has to happen, because you have to learn. It's part of the a love package that you are in. You have to learn to be able to communicate with your partner. So some of these things are things that you have to, you know, to be lenient, and you have to be accommodative. Not that you are like that. There are so many people who can stand and speak and shout and express themselves. Not everyone can do that. Some people can do that because they were born like that, to express themselves and to shout and do. Okay, while other people, they have to learn to do it. So if it's your value that you want someone, or you are in a relationship and your partner is failing to communicate properly, you have to sit down and speak out. One of the missing point in the relationship is to speak out things, what you feel. A lot of people, they would rather be hurt without speaking out what they are feeling to their partner. Why? Because of assumptions. They assume that they should know that I need this, which is something not possible, because I might want something from my partner, but they don't know if I didn't tell them. So when you are communicating, you are telling them what you see as more valuable to you. You are actually letting them know that this is part of me. That's what I like, and that's what I want. So you have communicated to them, you have told them. It's up to them on how they are going to receive it. But the good thing is you have said it and it's out. It's no longer with you. They will know what you're expecting. So when you sit down and talk things out, you have to let them know what you really want from them, what you are expecting from them, what you want them, not to impose, but it's those are your values, that these are the values that, you know, because even them, they also have their own values. Then they are gonna tell you, these are my values also. So if you know the reason why you are in that relationship, I'm sure you'll be able to learn each other's values. But if you are looking for a partner with these your values, it may not be easy to find someone who is going to accept. People will just lie and say, okay, I know this is what just because they just want to enjoy being with you. But when that reason has been fulfilled just to be with you, then they don't care about your values anymore. Then that's when fight starts, because they know, no, what I wanted is it's already there with me. Okay, so it's already there with them. So why would they accept your values now? So it's very important for us to know that when you want to be in a relationship, you need to look for someone whom you can have the same values, you can connect, someone who is accountable with what they are doing. I know they are here. I don't know some parts of the world. I'm willing to learn, but here in Africa, there are so many things that there are so many reasons why people enters into relationships. They don't even care about the values, your values. So many people, they don't care about the values that I know. They just care about what you can give them at that particular time. The things that you can just fulfill to them. Maybe it's a sexual feeling. They just want to have that feeling. Then later you see they are nowhere to be found. So these are some of the things that makes people why they are not committed. And these are the reasons why most of the people don't grow. And in such state, people will prefer that they should compromise in order to accommodate the person, because maybe they will change. Okay. But at the first, if the person didn't accept your values, they are not going to change. They will just get what they want, then they will leave, they will run away. So these are also the contributing factors why most people, they don't grow, because they accepted the people with such values because they just wanted to be with them to fulfill that, no, I have a partner, we are together, you know, so it's fine. But they are hurt inside. They know that that's not what I want. That's not the relationship I want. They are just trying to compromise in order to suit with their friend, in order for them just to accommodate the friend or the partner. But in reality, they have compromised and they are not even trying to live a part of their values. Here in South Africa, I've seen like many women, if many women that they'll just they'll just take like a man just because maybe he's got a nice body, or he's got a nice body, is
Nice body is a
presentable.
very good plus.
Okay, so they don't really care about all other values, whether the person is what they want. They are going to build the future together. They will just want someone who is presentable, whom when they are working together, people say, wow, look at that. That's a lovely couple. But they know inside of them that is not what it is. And some people can accept such kind of a situation just because they want to prove a point to someone that I can have this kind of a person in my life. You people, you thought I cannot have such kind of a person. I can have, but are they? Is that the person that they really need? They really want in their lives? No. So a lot of people, they will compromise their values just to have a name or have a person to them. And another value that is in there, it's financial philosophy, how you treat yourself. How do you think you are going to be accountable with your partner when you don't know yourself, how the priorities you want? When we are in love first, newly, what you talk about mostly is about love and feeling. I miss you, I love you, I can't wait to see you. We actually forget about everything, the foundation, the most basic foundation about it. The first thing, something that you must understand is, if you really need to be together, there are a number of factors that are going to be there to build that relationship. So financial philosophy is one of it. So if one of your values is to build a stable financial stand, then you have someone who is not even willing to contribute in anything. A contribution doesn't mean you have to give money or whatsoever, ideas. But here, I know there are so many people who are willing to go out and eat every day, and without even thinking how you're gonna save and have future plans. They think maybe in the future we are going to see what's going to happen in the future. They don't really care about what's going to happen in the future. They just want to have the money and enjoy, go wherever they want. It's not bad to enjoy. It's not bad. You have to really enjoy this life. You have to feel that, yeah, this life, but you also need to be mindful about where we are going. As the world is changing, it's revolving, many things are changing. So if you are not mindful, or you have somebody who doesn't care about your finances and they just want to take and shop around and buy things, it's not gonna work. It might be hurting you, but because you are afraid of losing them, you just keep quiet, but that's not what you want. So such kind of things, they are also part of the things that destroys most of the relationship. And another one is anger management. This one is very tough, and because how to choose our words is not easy when you are angry. You actually know what to communicate, what to say, even though you are pretending you don't know. Many people, when they are angry, there is nothing that they think about which is positive. They only think about violence, and their heart is pumping blood, and they just want to destroy. Why? It's because they want to make their point stand. They want to make that their point to be heard. So even if they are trying to speak to you in a good way, you are trying to stressing out a point and you are trying to say something positive, but maybe your partner didn't understand it the way you are trying to communicate to them. How they are going to conduct themselves and how they are going to manage their anger, it also says a lot in a relationship. So these values, in case they are the ones that you are looking for in a relationship, are your values met? Are you getting what you're supposed to get? Is your partner respecting your values? Because if there is no respect of the values, it's not easy to grow. It's not easy to understand each other. It's not easy to be accountable. It's not easy to be honest because the other person does not respect your values. In the same way, do you respect the values of your partners, of your partner? Or you just say, no, whatever, as long as we are together, it's fine. No, it's not fine. If you really want to build a strong and healthy relationship, you need to understand and share the values and compromise on the values. So these are some of the facts that you can not feel or have the same feelings for the rest of your life. Feelings change with time and situations. It depends on the situation and the reason why you are no longer feeling the same. Again, there are so many questions in a coaching session because change comes as a result of different factors. It could be a foundation, a perspective, finances, attractiveness, and so many things. So when you know the reason why you are there, you have to expect that things are not going to be the same. Things are going to change. And you need to be with a partner who is ready for anything. You might have a job and all of a sudden they fire you, you don't have any other option. Are you willing to sacrifice to still stay and have feelings for your partner for your partners? Because we really need to understand that as times goes by, we cannot be the same. There are so many things that changes along the way. If you are not feeling how you are feeling the first day you met your partner, how are you going to rekindle that fire? How are you going to show that you care? It was not all about feelings, because the feeling is not part of the reason. It's just an expression that is there in the relationship that you have to express and feel loved and give love at the same time. So in that state, after a year, 2 years, that feeling is not there. Are you gonna run away? Are you gonna leave? Are you gonna find somebody else? Okay. So situations can change us, can change people, can change our partners families can change us, can change our partners. We can change in a whole lot of different ways. If you remember for the past, this past year, there are so many things happening because of the pandemic, and a lot of people were fired from the jobs, and and here a lot of people used to be fighting and abusing each other because maybe the person who was providing is no longer working. And so these are some of the things that happens when you are in a relationship. But when you have the proper reason in the relationship, you are able to overcome such things because you know where you are going. You already have the plan that no, these things happens in life and we're gonna go through it. Both of us, we're gonna go through it. But if you know that you cannot stand when such things happen, then that value is it's gonna be difficult for you to be in the relationship. So for now, let me stop from here so that if you have got questions, then you can ask, then I'll be able to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. You reminded about so very important things, and we can definitely learn a lot from this session. I would say that, when you touched the point about the financial situations, sometimes people, they avoid to touch that topic because it's kind of sensitive, or people afraid to be materialistic, right? But you touched it, and I think it's like those things that we sometimes avoid to speak about is something that can, shake our minds, and we would have the opportunity to think about that again. You said that you had the question from Taishua, right?
Yes. Okay. She was asking about the habits, accepting. She said, tell them to go back to who was accepting of those habits. I don't know if I'm able to understand the question clear. If Taishua can ask me, I think maybe I'll be able to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Then I have the question. Talking about the people who we want to accept, to be in our life, or we want to be with someone. Sometimes people, they don't understand their feelings. They even don't know why I want to be with the person, or why, what is my reason why I want to have the relationship. What they can do to understand their reasons why they want to be in a relationship.
Okay, the reasons are very simple. It's just like if you want to do something, like, let me say, a business. If you don't have a reason why you want to do a business, it might not work the way you want it. Because maybe you just saw some people doing the same business. So you just want to do it because people are doing business, then it's not gonna work. But if you have a reason, for example, if I say I want to do a business, I want to generate some funds to start building my career. Even if the business doesn't go well, you are not gonna give up because you know the reason why you want to do it. So you are going to try to understand where it's failing, okay? Where the business is failing, and also why it's not picking up the same way. And you are going to learn a lot of things along the way. Like, a lot of people have done it. it didn't work out, but they kept on trying until it worked out. So these are the reasons why people, when they are in a relationship, they are looking for beyond whatever is there, beyond like the feeling, because the feeling is not the primary reason, because feelings can change. Then if the feelings changes, which means you can run away or you can say, no, I think I don't have any reason anymore. But if you know, or you have a proper reason why you are in that relationship, even if the feelings changes, you know that you have a reason why you should still be there. And that reason is to grow together, maybe have a family, together, and for a longer period.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Taisha wants to add something.
Absolutely. I was saying in my comment, Patrick, when you were giving the relevancy about habits, how, you were saying that someone was like, hey, this is who I am. I've been doing this. Nobody else has ever had a problem with this. And now I'm with this person, and now they have these problems. And like you were saying, like, if you have created a certain behavior and no one has really called you out on it, yes, and like you were saying, they were just pretty much patronizing you, or just going with the flow because they enjoyed having someone there. They did not want to experience any type of loneliness. What I'm saying is, why did you leave those individuals who were so comfortable with your habits? Why didn't that relationship work? Why didn't that situation actually go the distance? That's because they really did, bother that person. And now, it's now, so now it's coming into play, and you're like, wait a minute, why is it now a problem? No, you just never saw it as a problem because those were habits you created that you were comfortable with. And now you're with someone who's actually letting you know, this isn't good for you. It's not good for me, and it's not good for the relationship.
Yes, absolutely true.
That's something, but that's when we are really ready to ask ourselves, maybe I really hurt someone, or maybe that's really, like you said, reasonable, like to look at that, maybe I should change that. But again, like Mahmoud were speaking about that, the way we speak about that, sometimes we're just bring that to person when we're just so pissed off. So we're not ready to accept the changes, and and the other person is not ready to change anything, because it comes at that way when like it's just lots of anger, and like, you just got me, because like with this behavior. From another side, sometimes we're not willing to listen. We really think, oh, I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me because I'm comfortable with that. I'm maybe like, that's beneficial for me. And I do actually, deep in our heart, I believe that we know what is beneficial for us, but not beneficial for someone else. And we just continue doing that. And most people, I think that you would agree with me that most people, they are decide better to move on, to change the person than to change the behavior, because it's kind of frustrating, and they keep changing the partners, being so perfectly imperfect, but not changing the things that hurt other people.
Yeah, absolutely true what you have said, that many people, they try to change the partners instead of changing the behavior in the person. And because of that, they are ready to find someone who is compatible with what they want. So the main problem was not the person, but was the behavior with the person. So in my opinion, and I think if they try to help that person, it can be good. If the person, they are also, if they'll be able to, or they are willing to change, because that's another part. If the person is willing to change, if they have seen the problem, like what Taishwa said, that they might be that they didn't see that they have a problem because everyone else accepted them the way they are. So why you are having this problem with me? So that's when fight starts, you know. So change, it has to be both sides. If you identify and it's a genuine concern to your partner, you have to listen and you have to take an initiative to listen to what they are trying to say than to fight them.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Thank you. I had another question. You covered just in the beginning such a thing that you should do not be with the person with whom you're not comfortable with. But many people, they are suffering absolutely just because of that, because they accept to be with someone they are not comfortable with, and they know that from the very beginning. Why they do that?
Okay, the reason why many people do that is because of a perspective or what they want from the person. For example, let me give you an example here. I've seen and I know it's happening a lot, quite a lot, that some women, some people, they would be in a relationship with someone just because maybe they are providing things that they want, but they cannot even put that person in public, meaning they are not comfortable with that person, but they are in a relationship just because of what they are getting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's the topic for the, I don't know, for weeks to speak about. Yeah, that's very true. And what about, you as well mentioned that taking care of the relationships should be like, there should be just two people, like this is the relationship in between me and her, you know. But what if people try to influence or given advices how to protect each other, how to protect the relationship from that kind of like people who try to give an advices?
Okay. Why I said that point is, when you are entering into a relationship, the first thought is for two people. You are two people. For example, if I'm in a relationship, before I add someone else a counselor or another person to help me, it's me first who wants to be there. Even though I may ask other people opinion that, do you think, is it good for me to be in this relationship? How do you look at it? The rightful person to answer that question is not them, it's me. They can give me the advice, they can give me the counseling, but the decision comes from me. If someone else pushes me to be in a relationship, it's not gonna work, because they are pushing me maybe based on what they think. Maybe the person is good, but for me, I don't see that the person is good. I'm not connecting with that person. So the first point was, you have to be in a relationship to connect with the person before someone else comes in. The other people can come in as a result of maybe you are having challenges or problems, so you are looking for advice and people to give you opinion, rather than someone comes in and tells you what you should do and how you should do it.
Yeah, that's I think so valuable things for people to hear when we're asking for an advice. By the end of the day, there is responsibility on us what we decide to do with that advice. If we decide to take that, if we consider to use that in the practice. And anyway, I think people never know what is happening in between too. And sometimes we ask for advice, and we are taking in actions, but those actions are based on influence of other person who doesn't know actually like what the situation really is. And here is like, it's sometimes it's for people not so easy to keep the focus on the personal feelings, like what do I feel about that, because even if it hurts sometimes, the misunderstandings in between two, but we feel that we should not say that, or we should not do that, or we should not like follow the advice, or we should not even ask for advice. But we need those kind of support, and we go for that. And as well, like our body, and we feel we have the intuition, we have our body, and many people, we are connected to our intuition. And just like well, maybe I will give that a little bit later, just a little practice how we can sense like I want this or I don't want this, and our body gives us an answer if we should do that. Because many relationships, I think, being hurt because people just they actually, even without, even what is worse, even without asking asking for an advice, they start to point in, oh, you know, that's not so good in your relationship, why don't you change it? And that's ruining lots of people's life. In terms of that, may I ask you if you can give an advice how, just in the very beginning, when you said that you should understand that this is your person, like, and you are comfortable with your person, how to understand, is there any tips that you can advise people how to understand that there's his or their person? Or the second one, how to resist, do not go into relationship with those people with whom we're not comfortable.
Okay, so my tips and advice is, first of all, you have to be honest with yourself. It's a key. If you are not honest with yourself, you make a lot of wrong decisions. So the problem with a lot of people is we are not honest with ourselves. We just want to impress other people.
Oh, wow.
So in the end, we end up being hurt, but we want people to feel sorry for us. But they don't really know the reason why we made that decision. We wanted to impress people instead of being thoughtful of the decision that we are making. Is this the right decision that I am taking? So you need to take time. You need to take time to think about a lot of options. There are so many options out there. You know, when you travel, you meet different people. I can tell you that out of the people you say, these people are good people, because you have never met them. You actually say, these people are good people. Why? Because maybe they did something, they helped you in a way that nobody has helped you. So you think that those people are good, but maybe they did good to you because you're a stranger. But if you ask someone else about them, they'll say, no, that person is not good. So there are so many options. There are so many ways on how we can be honest to ourselves. We can give ourselves time and evaluate. That's why I've heard a lot of people who say, give me some time to think about it, on how I can come up with a better answer to what you're asking me. It's actually not a bad thing. It's actually giving you self-confidence and know that you want to be in a situation that you have to commit yourself, rather than just rush and make a rush decision that no, it's fine, it's okay, I like the person, it's good. That's when you meet problems, because you didn't take time to think about it. But when you have time to think about such things, you make proper decisions, and you fight so many things inside of you that, what if this, let me try this. If this didn't work, I think I'm gonna do this. So the reason why people do that, they enter in a relationship with people whom they are not comfortable with, is because they are not, most of the people, not all the people, but most, they are not honest with themselves. Two, they just want to impress people. Three, they just want to impress the person that they are not difficult, they are flexible, yeah, they are genuine and they are true. And they just want to give it out, and so they'll end up being in a relationship, a wrong relationship, with somebody they are not even compatible with. They are not even matching in so many different ways.
Sometimes people play, by the way, when they want to have an answer, what they want to have, not what you would give because of your feelings. They try to rush people. So
Yes.
you are in stress to like, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend just like today. If you're not gonna give me that, like I would leave you, or like I'm playing, but like, let's go married tomorrow. And you understand, you feel that I need the time to think, or it's not my cup of tea at all. And people are rushing you onto something that you don't want to do or don't want to have, or you feel that's not something good for you, but they are trying to put you on a stressful position. So you, out of your kindness, out of your politeness, out of the position to not hurt other people, would say, rather say yes, even if that will be bad for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's because of maybe the outside force, if I may say it in that way, the outside force, or the world, how the world is revolving around, and things that are happening so quick. And so some people, they would suggest that maybe they want to adapt to the new norms of the world, that no, these days people don't have that time to be thinking and waiting. You just have to say yes.
Because they want it. Yeah. Patrick, that
so,
was absolutely, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, you can speak.
No, I just wanted to say that you brought really important things that people sometimes they, as I said, they are just shy to talk about that, because that's something inappropriate to remind about, or it's just not like, it's not polite to ask about that or to talk about that. And you brought the points that are really, really important. That was my pleasure to listen to you, and that was so wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Nerpetz Patrick, the crisis management relationship person who shaped her mind today to think about important things, and to remember that we need a time, and that we need to think about ourselves first, and put our needs first, and understand why we want to have the relationship. This is so, oh my God, so awesome question. And that you brought to us, that why you want to be in a relationship. I wanted to ask, by the way, sometimes people, they don't want to share as well why they want to be in a relationship, because they do understand that the other person would not accept. If, for example, that happened, I would say that happened a lot to both sides. When people want to have the intimacy, for example, they would never say, you know,
Yes.
I just want to have the intimacy with you and that's it. I don't want to build a relationship with you. I don't want to build a friendship with you. I just want to have one night and then just it, or just like have you as a partner and that's it. And people, they are not being honest, sharing the true reasons why they want to be with you.
Yeah, it's because of the lack of accountability with ourselves, because dishonest comes in the way when you don't value the other person. You know what you want, then from there you are going to find reasons to lie to them so that you can get what you want. So the accountability is one of the reasons why a lot of people, they make a lot of mistakes, and they'll be in a situation whereby they didn't want to be. Okay, so if we learn in that way, that in whatever we want to do, we mustn't only think about ourselves, we must think about the other person, that they are committing themselves to us because they trusted us. Okay, so they are not doing it because we said we want them, but they have actually trusted us that we are being honest with them. So if we don't have that mindset about the other person, that they actually willing to give out themselves to us because they trust us and they believe in us, then I have to be accountable and also show them the respect in return.
Yeah. Amen. That's very strong. I have the comments on a Facebook. Sonil Parajuli said that wonderful point, Patrick. People have the fear of rejection, so they are afraid to. I think that's to that point, that they're afraid to share the true reasons why they want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to stress that a little bit more, is that will give each one of us the advantage to really know what we want and what we want to build. Okay, what we want to build. I was writing a vision for one of the organization when they were asking me about me to do something. So the first thing that I did, they always used to fight and no, why this thing is not done? Why this thing? It's a big organization. It's a church actually for almost like 10,000 people. So when they were asking me, I just asked them, what is the vision of this church? Everyone looked like they are surprised that they said, no, we want to preach, we want to win souls. So I said, okay, how? So they say, no, we want to be preaching to people on Facebook and, the church. I said, okay, no, that's not the vision. Because earlier on, they had showed me they have a plan. They want to build a mega church and, so I said, the first thing, this plan to build the church is not the vision. It's part of the plans inside the vision, of which I want to speak more about it later in the near future. of how I overcame and I came up with the solution. What I discovered was they didn't have the vision, but they thought they have a vision because they only had plans on how to do things. Actually, not even to execute the plans. They only had plans to build and have big things and so on, but they didn't have the vision. So I came with this plan and understanding to them that, okay, the first thing we have to build to have a vision, a strong vision is, for example, beyond what you are planning now, maybe something that can go beyond 30, 40, 50 years. That's a vision. You have to think of the people, okay? In different world, in different parts of the world, to reach out to them. That's a vision. You want to reach out to them, but how? That's when the plans comes in. So when you write down the vision, the plan is going to be actually simple and easy for you to implement whatever you want to achieve. So thank you so much for this session. So as we are going along, we'll talk much on the issues about the growth of the relationships. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As I said, to listen to men who would deliver those valuable things about the relationship, and that's so great example for people who want to learn, for people who hesitate about different things and values and different points of views. Somehow, women mostly, they are bringing those things onto the society, and care about family. So I find it truly amazing and magical things when men are talking about that. And my huge respect to you, and I'm blessed and I'm so happy and I'm very, very grateful for you. Thank you so much.
You're wonderful and you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, that's it for us for the first part. The second part would be actually already in an hour. So we would have again the heart open guided meditation with Anna in the beginning of the next session. And then we will have Rosalba, beautiful Rosalba, who would speak about topic relationships and the relationship with money, how they are connected. We would have the Kenji Santil talking about the respect in relationships, different aspects of relationships. And as well, our absolutely amazing, lovely, shiny Taishua. I'm looking forward to listen to you. To be honest, I'm so inspired by the information that you gave us today, everything that you shared. And I'm looking forward to for the second part, to see the second part and to move on from there. Join us, just 1 hour to go, and there would be absolutely beautiful speakers, and you're gonna love it. Thank you so much for everyone who's been with us from the very beginning for the entire 3 hours, actually 4 hours almost. Thank you, my just huge not the respect, but I'm very, very grateful for you to be with us from the very beginning to the end of the first section. Thank you. See you in an hour.